guys, and welcome to Piano and Keyboard Artist, where we discuss everything about artists relating to pianos, keyboards and synthesizers. And in this video I want to invite you to take part in this little survey. Now, as you know, I've been talking about the Depeche Mode album reviews that I'm going to be rolling out soon. And before I do that, I thought I would like to release this little exercise. And you'll see why. Now, in these Depeche Mode album reviews, I'm going to be reviewing every album chronologically, all the way from Speak and Spell right through to their current album, Spirit. Now, in these album reviews, it is my goal to go into a lot of detail. You know, the album's recorded, a little bit of history. We're going to discuss the songs, some of the melodies. And at the end of every album review, I'm going to tell you which is my favorite song on the album, my least favorite song on the album. I'm also going to talk about which I think is the most radical track on the album. And then at the end, I'm going to give each album a rating out of 10. It's quite difficult to do because, as I say, I've been a Depeche Mode fan, you know, for most of my life. And the rating I'm giving now is based on the way I feel about it now. And listening to those albums now, it's funny how, for example, albums like A Broken Frame, which I before would have not rated really highly, listening to it now, it's just gone up so much higher in my estimation. So we review every album, and then after that I'm going to be doing, within my Geek Talk series, I'm going to go into every album and approach it from a more sort of like technical aspect, where we discuss the synthesizers and, you know, the sort of more technical aspects of it. Under the Piano and Keyboard Artist umbrella, it's more sort of about, you know, the general approach and the songs, and under the Geek Talk umbrella, it's more the sort of technical and the geeky side of it, which, even if you're not a musician and producer, hopefully you will find interesting too. And so, running interchangeably and parallel with this Depeche Mode album review series, I said I'm going to be bringing in my friend Brian Griffin, and we're going to discuss all his album covers, you know, because as we know, he did all the album covers from Speak and Spell all the way up to Black Celebration. The interview with Brian Griffin is going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be great to sort of hear his inspiration and his thought process, and, you know, just how he approached every Depeche Mode album cover, and, you know, his time with the band. And it'll be a very fascinating topic. And of course, as far as I know, as Brian has told me, he's never really done sort of like an in-depth review about Depeche Mode album covers that he did. Of course, he's spoken about them many times, but there's no sort of series dedicated to Brian Griffin and the Depeche Mode album covers that he did. So, you know, I'm happy to say that this is a first here on this channel. So as I say, those album reviews are coming out soon. I've listened to all the songs. I know what I'm going to rate every album out of 10. And now I'm interested in you and what your feelings are on every Depeche Mode album. So my initial idea was to release a video called What Are Your Favorite 3 Depeche Mode Albums? And then I was going to release another video after that called What Are Your Least 3 Favorite Depeche Mode Albums? And the reason I decided not to do it that way was because I think if I do a video and ask you what your favorite 3 albums are, I think I know what they're going to be. I think most of you are going to go for Black Celebration, Violator, Songs of Faith and Devotion, or you might substitute Songs of Faith and Devotion for Music for the Masses. But I've always found that most Depeche Mode fans, that, you know, their 4 biggest albums would be, you know, Black Celebration, Music for the Masses, Violator, and Songs of Faith and Devotion. And the same goes for if I ask you what your 3 least favorite albums are. You know, most of you, I have an idea what you're going to choose. So if we did it that way, what would happen is we would know the top 3 and we'd know your least favorite 3. The problem with this approach is we're going to know your top 3 albums and we're going to know your worst 3 albums, but then it's going to leave like this void of all the remaining albums in the middle, with us not really knowing, you know, where they sit within your scale of approval or disapproval. So I figured the way around this will be to ask you to rate your Depeche Mode albums just the way I'm going to be doing it in my Depeche Mode album review series. So my friend, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to, in the comment section below, write down all the Depeche Mode albums from Speak and Spell all the way to their current album, Spirit, and give each album a rating out of 10. So for example, you might go Speak and Spell, that was a great album, I'm going to give it an 8. And you'll go Speak and Spell, 8. Below that you might go, A Broken Frame. It was not as good, but it was alright. I'm going to give it a 7. And then below that you would write Construction Time again, and so on and so on. So, all the albums, from Speak and Spell to Spirit, make a list, and next to each album, give it a rating out of 10. I think this will be very interesting to start this as a discussion before I release my album review series. So, with that, we're going to, at the end, collect all the data, and that'll be very interesting, because once we collect all that data based on your feedback, we can then create this definitive list of, based on your feedback, all the Depeche Mode albums and how they sit within your level of favor, you know, from the best down to the medium, down to your least favorite. I don't like to say to the worst, because Depeche Mode never released a worst album. They've just got very good ones and some that are not as good. Right, my friend. So once you've done that, once you've rated all the Depeche Mode albums in the description below, from Speak and Spell all the way to Spirit, with each album given a rating out of 10, I want you to go over to the Facebook page. Yes, to those of you who don't know it, by popular demand, I have started a Facebook page which is linked to this channel. So once you have below in the description rated all your albums, I would like you to go to this Facebook page, click like and follow it. And also there is a Facebook group which is linked to this channel. And to join that group, you just need to request approval. Once you request approval, I will approve you, and then you can jump in. So once you've done your reviews of the albums on this channel, I would like you to go and do it again, if you don't mind, on the Facebook page. And the reason for the Facebook page is a lot of you have asked for it. It just makes it a little bit more interactive. It's a little bit easier, I think, to chat on a Facebook group than it is below in the comments below. But you know, please continue leaving your comments here, but the idea is to elaborate and expand on your feelings and your thoughts within the Facebook group. And that's it, my friend. It's as simple as that. So I think this is going to be really, really interesting. I can't wait to see your feelings, and I think, you know, within a week or so, we're going to have a very, very good idea of where you feel, you know, you guys as a group and part of this community, how we feel, which are our favorite Depeche Mode albums and which are the least, and we can build that chart where we start with the very, very, you know, a very, very favorite one and our least favorite. Because it's interesting, I think most people tend to go with Violator as a favorite album, and then there are people who say Violator and Songs of Faith and Devotion, but then there are people who say that Songs of Faith and Devotion is the worst album ever, which is fascinating. But then again, this is the wonderful thing about choice and everyone being different. So guys, please get involved, and if this is your first time to this channel, please click the like button, subscribe, check out the previous videos. We have a lot of fun here, and I'm like a kid at Christmas. I really love this, guys. So please participate and don't be shy, and I look forward to seeing you on the next videos. Take care, guys.